guys, I wanted to do something a little different for you all this week, which is to give you a little behind the scenes look at what our process is like in our designs. One of the reasons is because I think it's interesting and thought y'all might think it's interesting, but also we started doing something recently that is kind of abnormal for our industry, at least in this area, which is we started charging for our designs and estimates. And that catches some people off guard because it's pretty normal to do free estimates around here. So I wanted to do this in order to kind of give people an inside peek as to why it costs money, because it takes a lot of time to make these designs. And so I wanted y'all to see a little bit of behind the scenes of how it is for us and how much time and work and effort we put into it. So let's get started. So let's go ahead and jump into the first kind of design that we do. This is probably the most common. This is where they just want like a flower bed design, something small and simple. I just take a photo of their space and put it in this software called iScapes, and that allows me to start drawing. So you can see I draw area, I add mulch in, I can do river rock or other types of stuff as well, and it allows me to drag and drop plants. It has a really good selection of plants I can use. You can see here I'd pull in some emerald green arborvitae, some fountain grasses, and you have to kind of start from the back and work your way up. You can adjust layers later if you want to, but anyway, and it takes some work to get used to the dimensions and like perspective and ratios of everything. This here, it also allows you to add in custom things. So that's a water feature like the type that we build. It's not in the software, so I was able to find a picture and cut it out so that I can add that into my designs. These pink muleys are also something that I had to add myself. But yeah, this is a very simple way to just give the customer a really good visual of what they're paying for, and gives my guys a pretty good simple guide to follow. It's very helpful. Now we're getting into the more complicated one. This is when it's a much bigger job. This is a pretty small space, but there's a lot going on here. This is more overhead, where I take a shot of my drone or a Google Earth photo, and I have to draw over that. And this is when scale, perspective, and dimensions really matter. So here, I had a picture of my drone that I put in the software called Concepts, and then I used Google Earth to get the measurement of how far her yard is across. Then I add that scale into the software, and then I just kind of start drawing on it. So here I'm using these lines just to kind of draw a guide of a blank canvas, because I can't draw directly on the picture because even it has sort of a perspective issue because it comes from a tiny little camera. So I have to draw it as if there's not from a camera. It's like a God's eye view of what we're looking at here. So all the perspectives and the dimensions are accurate. So I had the space, and now I'm starting to add her patio in. So I try to do what is existing and what's staying. So made the space, added the patio. Now I'm trying to add the guides, the references of what I'm gonna do, because she wants these raised garden beds that will wrap around the outside of her property, around her fence. So I put those little boxes as a guide, like this is 18 inches off the fence, which is where they need to be. Here I am cutting out spots to where there's the gates that are on either side can open. And anyway, and then I'm just kind of adding in the color and the detail, filling these things in. You kind of start with the skeleton, make sure everything is in the right place, and then you start filling it in. At this point, we're working on a pergola. So she wants about a 10 by 10 pergola in her yard. So kind of getting that 10 by 10. Again, I have the scale set, so this app will measure and track your dimensions for you. So I set my box to a 10 by 10 measurement, outline it, that gives me the general frame, and then I add the color and the flare and all that kind of stuff. Now I have to get a little bit creative because of the weirdness of the shape, but just adding in the grass, that'll still be there when we all get done. There's a concrete pad. She wants the pergola built on a pad, which is a good idea. You want a sturdy structure for it. Now we're doing, it's kind of hard to see, but we're adding a little privacy screen that sort of goes on each side of the patio, and we'll wrap in front of, in those big blank areas, there is utilities and AC units. We're gonna try to cover those up. This is the water feature we're gonna make for her. So it's gonna be about a 36-inch wide circle river rock area with these 3 basalt columns. So again, just trying to add all the little details we can to bring this to life for her.